Welcome to another Demarcation Media lighting kit review. Today we're going to be taking a look at another entry to Funwhole's Steampunk line. This is the Watchtower. This was sent to me for free for review, however that does not affect what I say about it because you cannot buy good reviews on this channel. The build process was really fun. I enjoyed this actually way more than the other steampunk set of theirs that I built, which was the bridge. It just came together really nicely, a lot of really clever building techniques. It was a pretty smooth build process up until around the top. The mechanisms up there were a little bit fiddly to get right. There's a ton of really cool parts, really unique colors, tons of drum lacquered gold. The completed tower is massive. It is so tall and there's a ton to look at on here. So many cool pieces and way more little mechanisms than I was expecting. Before I show you the completed build, I want to take a second to give my customary rant about the figures. They suck. The arms are skinny and break easily. The feet barely allow for standing, much less any pose beyond that. The figures themselves are too short and have no studs on their behinds, which means they're barely compatible with the builds that they're included in. They lack the charm of LEGO minifigures and the detail and posability of mega figures. The worst part about getting any Funwhole set is having to deal with the tons of figures that come with them. I barely build any of them, and most of them I just chuck. There's just nothing to do with them, and I really wish that they would update this system. The first of the builds is this little single-seater helicopter. It's essentially some sort of engine with a propeller strapped to it. The propeller does not spin, it's just there for looks, but we have some little movable control sticks, and there's a seat with a little arch over it. The figures don't fit well on it. They kind of can be clamped in there by the control sticks, but if you happen to have a LEGO minifigure, the studs work great. And it does honestly look pretty cool. We've even got some little clear bits, I guess, to show the steam coming out. So that's pretty cool. Although this guy has a very tall hat, so he's shoving this little tube. Overall, it's a nice little side build. It's cute. Starting at the main floor at the entrance, we have a ton going on. First of all, there's a weird little statue here of some guy named Elvis Stewart. Interesting, but one of those terrible figures again. What really got me right off the bat, though, was all of these drum lacquered gold parts, in addition to all the print. The doors are printed, the archway is printed. Oh, it's so good. Funwhole does so good with the prints. Very nice build for the front little tiling area. We have some girders, and as we rotate, you can start to see some steampunk mechanics here. There's a lot of gears. We got a little printed piece that says Watchtower. Now this is really cool because this is the way that you get up to the second floor. So people will mount this little platform and then you will start cranking and the platform goes up all the way level to where the second floor will be. So that's really nice, especially because there are no stairs on the inside. And I think this is just a little bit more unique and it's just fun to mess with. Around the back, we have two more girders, as well as the battery pack, which doesn't look as out of place as usual because steampunk mechanical stuff, it all makes sense. We have a little bit of window up here, and then this all hinges open to reveal a control room with a bunch of gears. There's actually quite a bit of detail in there. This does not actually turn, they're just for decoration, but I think it looks really cool. Around the other side, there's a little typewriter and a door in, and then we have a clock and a little picture of a airship, which is actually one of the first Funwhole sets that I reviewed, which is pretty cool. Around the side, we have more mechanical detail poking out, as well as some more of our electronics. We have this really nicely built stained glass window, and then this also hinges open to reveal the main room, which has a little display case, a telescope, and a lot more prints, as well as a look at the steam reactor thing in the core of this building. Once we add the next floor, we get a little bit of a deck up and around here. There's a strange mechanical bird perched on this one corner tower. You get to see an elevator shaft with some printed pieces. This can actually be removed to give you access to the shaft. We'll look closer at that in a moment. Things are fairly plain around the back with just a little crank handle that will be very important in a moment. Around the side, there's the biggest of the 3 little towers here, and then there's some mechanical detail with gears sticking out of the wall. If we move up a little higher, we'll see a little landing pad, as well as another section that we can remove. So this really reveals the elevator shaft, and when we crank that little handle that we saw earlier, the elevator platform moves up to the next floor. The elevator lets out right here, so there's a little swinging gate and a very short door surrounded by more drum lacquered parts. Now this is very short. Here's a mega figure. He'd have to crouch. And here is a Lego figure, albeit one with a very tall hat. So it would take a bit to fit a figure through it. Even Funwhole's figures are short as they are, it's still small for them. This is where the little helicopter goes. You can just park it on that clear piece and it's ready for takeoff. And then we come to the top of the tower. Now all this green here is this really, really interesting metallic green. There's a slight bit of variation between the colors on some of the parts, but I was very impressed to see this. There was an entire bag of this stuff. Between the drum lacquered parts and this green, it was fun to build this purely just to see all these cool parts. So there's a lot going on here. Underneath the tower, there is a little knob. If you take that knob and start turning it, that actually rotates the entire top of the tower. So then the telescope that's mounted in there will get a full 360-degree view of the sky. That is really, really cool. I did have some difficulty getting this mechanism to work because it's a little fiddly. If you don't get it just right when you're building, it just won't work. There's also another mechanism with this little gold thing where if you push this, the whole telescope will pop out and then retract. This is also very fiddly. You got to make sure you get it just right. There's a little walkway all the way around on the top of the tower, and there's some stained glass. This is printed pieces. It looks so good. All of these stained glass prints look so good. They're slightly three-dimensional. Even the door is stained glass. Now, there is no way to just get up here. I guess you could take the little helicopter to get up here, but there's no stairs, no ladder, no nothing. It's just, you just get up there, and it rotates, so I don't even know how they would attach the elevator to it. The top of the tower does come off, which allows you access to the very small telescope room inside. This thing is so tall that I can't actually show it all off in my studio without you seeing the edges of my studio. The whole design reminds me very much of Piltover from Arcane, actually, and I really like the change from the other steampunk sets. Like I said, I have the bridge, and it doesn't quite have this same aesthetic. I really, really like this. However, this is a Funwhole set, and that means we have lights. So let's take a look at this thing all lit up. Of all the Funwhole sets that I've built, and I built a fair handful now, this one has one of the most stunning light up features ever. That giant stained glass window in the front has a full LED panel behind it, and the whole thing is lit up. It looks beautiful. Now, the tower is actually so tall that there are 2 battery packs. One is the big one that you saw earlier, and then there's one tiny one mounted underneath the roof of the tower. That allows the tower to have some light and still rotate without the wires catching, and we get some nice, even animated lights with the slow pulse of the watch light on the very, very top. Between the stained glass window, the animated light at the top, and even the light down around the front door, this makes a stunning display piece, and I personally am very, very happy. And I'm pretty happy with how it was implemented as a whole. Like I said, there are a few spots where the wires go under normal bricks, but the rest of this is very sophisticated. And also, this was easier to install than a lot of the other Funwhole sets that I built in the past. They iterate and get better and better with every build. Well, there you have it. That is the Funwhole Steampunk Watchtower. I definitely enjoyed this one a lot more than the Steampunk Bridge. I think the build process was smoother, I think the lights were smoother, and all the drum lacquered parts are just so cool. The quality of the bricks is very, very high. I think I got one malformed brick in this set, and that's actually pretty rare. I have not gotten many malformed Funwhole parts at all. So I'm not really too miffed about that because their quality has been high and has just gotten better and better. My main complaint is just with those figures. I really wish they would update them to be more useful. I hate having to just chuck all these useless, fragile parts, but they really have just no value. So if you want to get this, you can go over to Amazon and purchase it there. You can just search Funwhole and it'll bring up all their products on there, or you can go directly to their website. I'll put links down in the description and in the pinned comment if you guys want to go and check this out. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.